Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Odds Now YouTube channel for another episode of the FA Cup betting show. As you can see, I'm flying solo today as your host of this episode. I'm going to look over 4 or 5 matches across the weekend's FA Cup fixtures, pick out the best value and put up some of my own best bets. If you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. We've got a host of content planned across the coming weeks and months across multiple sports, boxing, football, darts, you name it, we cover it. Do be sure to check everything else out. And you can also head over to oddsnow.com for all of our written content as well across those sports. There's plenty of juicy articles for you to get your teeth into up on the site now too. I'm going to keep it quite short today. Like I said, 4 or 5 matches across the FA Cup games this weekend. Give you a bit of background to the fixtures. These are matches where, in my opinion, there is a bit of value to be found on the betting lines. We didn't do great in terms of the best bets put up from the last episode of the FA Cup betting show, but I think we were very unlucky with a few, and I'm certainly optimistic that we can improve on that performance this time around. So without further ado, we will get into it with the first game of the weekend, if you can count it as a weekend, actually, because it does take place on Friday evening at 8 o'clock. Manchester United hosting Leicester City. Now, it's quite an intriguing fixture, really, when you consider that neither of these sides are actually in great form. It's the third time they've played each other will be the third time they play each other this season already, these two sides. They've already met in the Premier League and the Carabao Cup this season, both of which took place at Old Trafford, and both ended in Manchester United victories by 5-2 and 3-0 score lines. As I said, they're not in great form, either of them. They both come off poor results last weekend. Defeats in the Premier League. United losing, at home to Crystal Palace, and Leicester getting slapped 4-0 away at Everton. Can the FA Cup provide some much-needed respite this weekend? Well, we will see. Man United in particular have been poor, to say the least, considering the size of the club. It's not quite gone. It's not quite gone to plan for Ruben Amorim since he's taken over at Old Trafford, but I think he was expected to have some teething problems, to say the least, given the state of the squad. But yeah, it certainly hasn't been a great watch for United fans lately, but even more can be said about Leicester's pretty woeful form, really, since Ruud van Nistelrooy took over there. Of course, enjoyed a spell as interim manager of Manchester United earlier this season. He now returns to Old Trafford as Leicester boss, but his side have only picked up just 1 win in their last 10 in the Premier League, and they're conceding goals for fun. So despite Man United's struggles, I'm still going to back them to win, particularly given the results between these two sides earlier in the season. But clean sheets have been hard to come by for United. I think they picked up just 2 in their last 16 matches in all competitions. They've not picked up any in their last 7 home games as well. And they face a Leicester side who have scored in 3 of their last 6 away games. So I am going to go with a Man United win, but with both teams scoring. That comes in at 13-8 generally with multiple sports books. I think there's plenty of value in that price, but it is currently shortening. So you're better off jumping on sooner rather than later to get the best odds available. Okay, we'll move in now into Saturday's games. Another Manchester club, Manchester City, travelling to Leyton Orient in one of the early kickoffs at 12:15 on Saturday afternoon or midday, however you want to refer to it. And for my best bet, I'm going to go and jump straight in, actually, with my best bet. I'm going to go with James McAtee to score at any time. I think he has been one of very rare bright sparks for Manchester City this season. He's made 7 appearances in the Premier League, scoring once, and he also played the full 90 minutes in City's resounding 8-0 win over Salford in the previous round of this competition, scoring a hat-trick in the process. I do expect Pep Guardiola to rotate for this one. It does seem as though McAtee will be destined for a start in the capital, and I'm going to back him to score again against Orient this weekend. A nice, fun little player prop there to keep things interesting. Like you can see on your screen, it comes in at just over 2-1 generally. Plenty of value there for me for a player who scored a hat-trick in the previous round of the competition. And of course, City will be coming up against lower league opposition once again. I'm going to keep it nice and short and sweet with that one. Like I said, I don't want this episode to be too lengthy. So we'll move into the third game of the video. That's Southampton taking on Burnley at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. These two sides, they may be in different leagues at the time of recording, but I'm not sure there's a whole lot of difference in terms of quality. Southampton, to say the least, have been absolutely terrible this season. They've just won 2 of their 24 matches in the Premier League. They find themselves rock bottom and are destined to drop back down to the Championship. They did beat Ipswich 2-1 last time out, but along with the 3-0 win they picked up over Swansea in the previous round of this competition, they're their only 2 wins in their last 16 games, and 12 of those ended in defeat. They face a Burnley side second in the Championship, who have a real strong chance of returning to the Premier League. So these two could be passing each other on the way up and down towards the end of the season. And Burnley, of course, they're unbeaten in 19 games in all competition. They've won 7 of their last 9. And I think the odds on this are incredibly wide. Just over 4 to 1. Sorry, the Burnley win comes in 17 to 4, the best price available with Bet365, and that for me is far too big to turn down. I couldn't believe it really when I was doing my research for this show and I saw those odds available for a Burnley win. Southampton have been absolutely abysmal. I don't think it's an overstatement to say that, and I certainly don't think it's too harsh a statement to say that there's a case that these two are probably equal in quality. At best, I think, in terms of Southampton, well, it's the best that Southampton could hope for in that discussion. Yeah, and a Burnley win just over 4 to 1, 17 to 4 with Bet365. I'll be snatching your hand off for that this weekend. On to another 3 o'clock kickoff. Everton taken on Bournemouth at Goodison Park on Saturday afternoon. These two they've already met at Goodison this season in the Premier League, where Bournemouth, of course, picked up a stunning 3-2 win at the end of August. They were 2-0 down with a couple of minutes to go, and yet they still somehow ended up leaving Merseyside with all 3 points to their name. Don't get me wrong, they're facing a much improved Everton side this weekend compared to the one they faced back in August. Particularly since David Moyes returned as manager, Everton have really improved, winning 3 of his 4 matches in charge, and they have picked up consecutive clean sheets in wins over Brighton and Leicester in recent weeks in the Premier League too. But I do still think getting this Bournemouth side at odds against is just too good to turn down based on everything that we've seen from them this season. As you can see there, they come in at 6 to 4 generally across the board to progress into the next round of the FA Cup this weekend. And yeah, they've been fantastic, haven't they, Bournemouth? One of the surprise packages of the season, coping brilliantly as well with a lengthy injury list in recent weeks. And of course, picked up that resounding win over Nottingham Forest, 5-0 victory on the South Coast a couple of weeks ago. That 6 to 4 price. Again, I think it's probably just too good to turn down, despite Everton's improvements. And I think it could particularly be appealing as part of any multiples that you might be putting up this weekend. So that's where I'll be going for this one. Moving on to the fifth and final game, of the video, Plymouth versus Liverpool. This one is set for 3 o'clock too, but on the following day, on Sunday, of course, the league leaders head into the South Coast as they look to go deep in all of the competitions they're competing in this season, really, Liverpool. I'll talk you through this game. I'm actually looking at the outright odds for the FA Cup before I hit record on this video, and Liverpool are narrow second favourites to win the competition, just behind Manchester City, I believe. And they head to a Plymouth side this weekend who picked up that surprising 1-0 win at Brentford last time out in this competition, didn't they? It earned them a meeting with the league leaders. I think Liverpool will be expected to rotate their squad ahead of this for this game, ahead of a crunch meeting with Everton in the Merseyside derby a few days later in the Premier League. But the depth of Arne Slot's squad still means there's plenty of quantity still on show this weekend. Plymouth manager Miro Muslic picked up a much-needed win last time out, 2-1 victory against West Brom. That was his first win in the Championship since taking over down at Plymouth, and it ended a 4-game winless run for them, but they still do come in predictable 17 to 1 underdogs here. And I'm going to finish this video with another little player prop. Harvey Elliott has not been granted loads of chances so far under Arne Slot. He's not been helped by a broken foot, to be fair, which he suffered early in the campaign. But he has been handed more minutes since the turn of the year and has scored on his last 2 starts for Liverpool. Both came in the Champions League against Lille and PSV. He's also scored 4 goals in the FA Cup in the past for Liverpool. And so getting him at just shy of 3 to 1 to score again this weekend, I think there's more than enough juice in that price for me. I expect him to feature, as I said, with Slot expected to rotate. He rotated against PSV, of course, where Elliott started and scored. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him get himself on the score sheet again. That comes in at 13 to 5 of Bet365. And again, a very good price in my eyes. That does conclude our FA Cup betting show, previewing all of the games, or 5 of the games, across the upcoming weekend. Like I said, I wanted to keep it nice and short and sweet, just to run you through the games where I think some value is available. But if you did enjoy the video, please do like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments as well. Do you agree with my selections? Where are you going to be putting your money this weekend? And hopefully between us, we can put up a few winners again. So thank you everyone for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.